You know, people frequently ask me about other courses. While I always respect other people and would always like to validate anything where people are trying, the fact is, at least in my mind, there are correct and incorrect ways to approach oral boards. And despite my respect for others, going the wrong direction can do, in my estimation, more harm than good. To paraphrase an old line, the road to success would be a whole lot shorter if so many people didn't get off looking for shortcuts. This is not hard, and if you're facing mediocre examiners, it may not matter. But against their best, there are certain fundamental components, at least I believe, to success. A few weeks ago in Dallas at the oral course, one of my longest serving and best faculty pulled me aside on the morning of the first day and said, "Niels, I'm concerned. It's 3 weeks before the exam, and some of these guys are clueless. In some cases, they seem to know but can't say, can't organize and articulate their thoughts, and in so many other cases, they just seem not to know at all." Now, things improved through the weekend for sure, but there is a lot of confusion suddenly, and when it occurs so late in the cycle and so close to the exam, it is of concern to me as a coach, and I might add very, very stressful to people taking the test. Confusion often begins with the view that more is necessarily better. It isn't. Studying smart and in a very focused way is what often counts most. This isn't the written. You pass that. You don't have to recite the amendments to the Constitution either. But you do need to have a clear, crisp spiel for hypotension on the tip of your tongue. A differential that has more than 2 points and doesn't start with an or an ah. Trust me when I say this, because I really believe it and I've really seen it so many times. A lot of good people have been hurt because somebody out there started the fallacious notion that it's more important for some reason to know how many nits there are on a gnat's knot than a complete differential for hypotension, bradycardia, altered mental status, dyspnea, and the rest of the very predictable questions that we're going to see on this examination. Memorization is important, doctor. Having the facts on the tip of your brain and the tip of your tongue is important. Trust me. How do presidential candidates facing a debate prepare? Let's look at this in another way, if you will. They memorize a big red equivalent, in their lingo, a briefing book. They know it so well they can recite it cold, and they can adapt their lines to fit the situation so it doesn't sound memorized at all. And that's exactly our goal. A lot of the poor play we are seeing is because some are looking for shortcuts and don't understand the need for actually knowing something cold. Some coaches don't help when they encourage laziness and shortcuts by trying to sell the idea you'll be fine if you look the part of a consultant or approach the problems like a consultant, whatever the heck that means. On the bottom line, what that seems to mean to me is it's better to be silent and thought a fool than open your mouth and remove all doubt. I just cannot think, and I cannot believe that such a strategy will get anyone very far against the skilled examiners you need to prepare for, these skilled interrogators, these top thought leaders in anesthesiology. I know for a fact it doesn't, but I can say it has done a lot of harm to countless good people to perpetuate the notion that we should somehow go in there and be soft on our information database and what is on the tip of our tongue and on the tip of our brain. Focused information likely to be tested. Memorization and a solid knowledge database. Again, having focused information on the tip of your tongue was important for me, has been important for thousands before you, is important for speakers, important for presenters of all kinds, important for debaters, and is important for you, trust me on this, as you share your ideas, again, with the thought leaders in our field. Please don't allow anyone to tell you otherwise. And if they do, I seriously want to challenge that person to a free and open debate, because such a strategy is ruinous, hurtful, and potentially catastrophic for at least a year of your life. Let's consider this in another way, if you will, just for a moment, please. Who was the greatest political speaker in American history? Was it John Kennedy? Was it Ronald Reagan? Was it Abraham Lincoln? It's hard to say, isn't it? But what we can say is that their greatest speeches started with great ideas, which were translated into great words and lines, in other words, in the writing of the speech itself. Now, along the same lines here, please know what you say begins with what you are prepared to say before you say it. There may be times when you have to ad-lib your way along, for sure, but we want to anticipate as much as we possibly can and have that information on the tip of your brain and on the tip of your tongue, and then learn it and present it very, very well. Now, in its worst form, this is not a trivial process at all. It is not at all important for the written, but it is crucial to success on orals against prepared and skillful interrogators. One of my interests is presidential speeches, and I'm particularly interested in one of the greatest speeches in the history of the English language, the Gettysburg Address. We can gain tremendous insight about how to prepare for our oral boards by studying the success and excellence of others. Remember the line, the key to success is visualizing excellence and aspiring to that level. We don't have time right now to talk about this, and we don't have time to talk about it at the course, but I hope to discuss this in a subsequent video, to share my thoughts, because I think it's so extremely important to you. Is it far-fetched to study a speech given in the 1860s by an American president, Abraham Lincoln? I don't think so. And in fact, the preparation for the speech and the implications of that preparation for our own efforts may be more important than the speech itself. And if, as a coach, I can give an excellent player like you the insights as to how to prepare, then half the battle is won. Believe it or not, President Lincoln has much to share as we uncover those insights and find ways to apply them to our battle plan. Doctor, why reinvent the wheel? Let's not make this too difficult. It's not complex. Work hard and repetitively with Big Red. Make your own cards or get the Spiels cards to help put polished information on the tip of your tongue. Come to an early course. You can't possibly answer a predictable question as well as I can, or as well as someone properly coached who has anticipated that question and has a well-formulated, well-honed, well-organized answer on the tip of his or her tongue. Ranger Red is an excellent practice tool too, which enables you to practice verbalization at home with colleagues, yourself, or your spouse. Don't laugh. As one person told me, my wife may not be an anesthesiologist, but no one has helped me more feel comfortable speaking and to develop the use of my hands, develop eye contact, and connect with another person. Agreed? Many try to command everything and end up commanding nothing. Others simply don't work hard enough, looking for magic bullets or shortcuts. I believe, and I always have, that casual preparation leads to casual results, certainly against their best, just as it always has. I do see more and more people confused, and I don't blame them with all of this bragging and self-promotion that goes on in the oral board review business, with various people talking about how outstanding they are as teachers and blah, blah, blah. The best teachers let their record of teaching do the talking. And in the face of all this bragging, I have just one response. Since April 6, 1938, when the American Board of Anesthesiology was formed, I've individually coached more anesthesiologists taking boards, have taught more courses, and have administered more oral exams than anyone in our specialty. And now I will brag a little bit, not on myself, but on my fine faculty. One person told me, "Your faculty are far superior to any other." Finally, the will to win is less important than the will to prepare to win. Such preparation does not involve shortcuts. Certain fundamental components are necessary, I believe, and confusion about the role of both knowledge and memorization can lead to mediocre performance. We believe, I believe, my faculty believe, with focus, hard work, integration, discipline, and desire, your success is inevitable. We'd be honored and humbled to help you achieve your best performance. Thank you very much.